Hey there! Anybody out there? I'm in the middle of Hurricane Melissa. All my instruments are down, lost my electricity. On a CNC 39, 1972, 53-year-old sailboat. I'm anchored just outside of Georgetown, Exuma, Little Farmer's Key. I moved because the hurricane track changed. It was headed, I thought the eye would pass over that, and it is right now. They're in the eye. I'm just on the edge of the eye, outside the eye, according to what radar I can get. I don't know if this is going through. I did get a phone call in with a WhatsApp call in with a buddy of mine. This shit's real, man. This shit's real. But if this is it, it's what I do, and it's how we live. And I did it my way, all the way to the end. I've been living on this boat for 5 years. And it's been the best 5 years of my life. I wish I would have figured out the cruiser life 25 years ago. Sorry for the hair, and I ain't shaved at all, but it's been a wicked couple of days, trust me. I've been up 40 hours. I did get a couple hours sleep this afternoon after I got my anchors down. But, you know, I don't know how much connectivity I got, even if this is making it out to the world. But I just wanted to share with you. I love what I do. I love everyone in my life. Those I don't love, I tolerate. Those I don't want to tolerate, we'll deal with them later. How about that? It is what it is, man. So if you're hating on me, keep hating. Go fuck yourself. I'm living the dream. I'm living large. And I got balls big enough to ride out the eye of Hurricane Melissa. So go fuck yourself. When you can join that club, look me up. To those that I love, appreciate you, man. You've been real. You've been a part of my dream, and I'm glad to have every one of you in my life. And to those that I haven't met, I can encourage you. You know, don't wait till you're too old to do this stuff. Retire now. You can always get a job later if you run out of money. And go live your dreams. I've been sailing on this sailboat for 5 years. You know, I retired early, sold it all, bought a boat, sailed away up in Chicago. Lived on in the Florida Keys for 3 years. Pretty much most of the year in the Bahamas last year, and you know, now I'm back in this year. I say I'm traveling the world at a stop and smell the coconut pace. What does that mean? Everyone says, when are you going to travel the world? Well, guess what? I left Chicago 5 freaking years ago. Stop and smell the coconut pace. Critical. I've been in Georgetown, Exuma for 5 months. Loving life, making good friends, personal connections. I got people there just like my caver world. Trust me with their life. I trust them with my life, just like my rappelling world. You know, we'll go down for each other. This is to stop and smell the coconut pace. Not just hit the tourist spots and, you know, give a couple $100 for some fancy drinks. You know, this is the for real tour. This is the locals tour. This is the stop and smell the coconut tour. I've never done a live performance before. I'm getting flashes on the screen. I don't know what's going on here. How you do this stuff. Let me touch some of these buttons. I don't know. I not even know. It's just slow connection. So I don't know what that's doing. So let me get out of that. It says public. I guess the world can see this. I don't know. Eyeballs. Your viewers. Huh, maybe that'll load. I can see who out there give me some love. But this is it. I left Georgetown last night. I've been tracking this storm closely. Georgetown was just outside the predicted cone by about 20 miles, but if the eye hit there, Georgetown would have been in it. Actually, the hurricane shifted a little bit east, and Georgetown is in the dead center of the freaking hurricane eye right now. I'm close to it. I'm 40 miles north. I'm 40 miles, 30 miles east of where I was. And so I don't know how bad they're getting it or what they're getting. Like I said, I lost all my instruments last night. I sailed round the clock to get here. I was out there in 12, 16-foot seas in the Great Atlantic Ocean, Exuma Sound. Seriously, I was in the shit. I didn't know if I was going to make it into the grand. Into all my navigation instruments were out. Literally, I was taking a beating. Shit flying around the boat. You know, stuff that every other sail I had stored securely and it worked. No, that didn't work this time. But I made it off the ocean this morning and got in here and got on anchor. I tried to get out of the way of the eye. You know, I don't know what it's at since it left Jamaica. I haven't had connectivity. They said they had gusts of 241 miles before it hit there. I knew I couldn't survive that. I don't know what Epiphany will survive. She's been through some serious stuff. She's been through peripherals of several other, not major hurricanes, but you know, this is a beast. Being in the eye of this one probably ain't survivable. And so I ran. I don't run from much, folks. Rule number 7 on Epiphany is Captain Taney ain't scared, don't worry. Captain Taney was scared. Captain Taney's scared right now. Captain Taney was scared last night. Seeing connection failed. You know, so I don't know if you're seeing this or not, but maybe this will be stored on the internet, and if these are my last words, you'll get to hear them. But love you all, man. Love you all. Appreciate you being in my life. God bless. Best wishes for you. And if this is it, I did it my way, all the way to the freaking end. Because I know y'all think I'm crazy for doing what I do. But it is what it is. Okay, I'm seeing some feedback. Jim Cherie Hill, love you, bro. I did see a post here. Says you have stories to tell. Well, how about this? Hope we meet up one day. You can buy me a beer and I'll tell you some stories. If we don't, whether you got this story to tell for me, how about that? Make that deal for me. If you're watching this and I don't make it, you tell my story. I don't know. Can you screen record this? Can you look it up? But I didn't drink for 3 years. I just went off the wagon here a couple months ago. Managed alcohol. I haven't been drunk. Don't want to get drunk, but I do enjoy a beer. The frame inside the boat, you know, you really can't see how bad the boat's rocking because the camera's rocking with it. Maybe you can hear the winds outside. I'm just outside the eye of the hurricane at the moment, best I can tell by the radar I can get. It is what it is. If I'd be in Georgetown from the radar that I can get, the NOAA radar, they are in the eye. And that's why I ran. I wanted to get further, but I had mechanical issues all day yesterday, all last night. I mean, why does all this shit got to happen when you need it the most? The Epiphany's been running perfect. The dinghy's been running perfect. Everything's perfect. I'm the mechanic. I fix this stuff. And man, what a wild night. Maybe it was the conditions. You know, I got my AIS and my GPS tracker on, but everyone says they can't get it to link up. I don't know. I just changed all my credit card numbers to prevent fraud a month or two ago. Maybe it needed an update and bill or something and it didn't get paid. I ain't got time to check it now. Don't know if I can. But Philip Francis, I did make contact with him. He's going to post some stuff to the Facebook page for me that he did talk to me and has got my location. And it's Little Farmer's K. By Big Guana K or Big Guana K. I come in Little Farmer's Cut. That was a wild ride now. When you're going through an inlet in 12, 16-foot seas, normally you can't do that. That's called the rage in the Bahamas here because the surf breaks and like on a surfboard, you got no control. Your engine don't matter, your rudder don't matter, and you get washed into rocks. But I chose this inlet as a bailout because I've been here before and I know how deep it is and how wide it is. Well, it's not that wide. It's got a big rock in it. You got to avoid. But I was hoping there wouldn't be no rage in it, and there wasn't. There was no breaking waves. But I did have to ride them 12, 16-footers in, but no breaking waves. But I'd been in them all night and going from one rudder stop to the next. Seriously, one rudder stop to the next. What a wild ride. Most of the time I was going 90 degrees port or 90 degrees starboard where I wanted to go. As these waves would pick me up and I'd surf down them. You know, I'm on a 40-foot freaking CNC 39, weighs 10 freaking tons. These waves were picking me up and I'm surfing down them, right? Like on a surfboard. And veering left and veering right, trying not to let the water come over the back of the boat. Because if I stayed square to these bigger waves, they would wash over the stern. I don't know if you've ever been on a boat and had stern wash, but if you're in the industry, you know stern wash ain't a good thing. You're in some serious shit when you got waves breaking over your stern. So to keep from being engulfed from the stern and taken down by those, I had to steer left and right, and then climb the next one. But it worked. You know, it worked. I made it. Obviously, I'm talking to you. I'm fine. I'm being nonsensical, I guess. I'm close to the end. I don't know where the end is. I'm close. So I'm having a beer. But yeah, what a mess this hurricane has been. And hurricane plan for Epiphany, everybody says you're crazy, you're in the Caribbean. What's always been, you see a hurricane coming, you run. And where I was is a hurricane hole, Georgetown. It's known for that. But when that hurricane changed track, and I posted a couple of days earlier about that, I was 160 miles from the eye of the track, if it run the track, but 20 miles or literally in the eye if it moved to the north edge of that cone. Guess what? You can watch it. You got connectivity. You're on the mainland. You're safe. The eye of the hurricane went the other side of the cone, north, in Georgetown. As I seen it coming yesterday, I said, we're in the eye. She's going to hit us. Little premonition, you know, and I said, run, Epiphany, run. I knew I couldn't survive it there. I don't know if I'm going to survive it here, but hey, we're doing the best we can, you know. Give her hell. Go down fighting. Go down with a click. You know, these clicks are $55 a freaking case, but they are good Bohemian beer. I might drink 2 or 3. As long as it says I got connection, I'll hang out with y'all. If I'm hanging out, I don't know if I'm getting through, but I'm seeing a couple people on the screen. It says, let me see, Kathy Will, Nestor, Harold Calvert, Stephanie Coulter. Bring them on camera. Hey, how about that? Couldn't get a guest. Technical issues. Guess what? I'm in the middle of freaking nowhere. Little Farmers Cay. Little Farmers Cay come to. If you're nautical, you know where that is. 40 miles north and 30 miles east of Georgetown in the Exuma chain. Look me up. I got a GPS on, but everybody tells me it ain't connecting. My Garmin InReach is on. Maybe I didn't pay the bill. I don't know. And my AAS is on. Philip Francis, Facebook group. He's got the numbers and how to do all that, but he says he can't connect. So I don't know what's up with that. But like I said, we are in the middle of a hurricane, so maybe that's why we can't connect. But what a crazy life, huh? I do what I do because I love what I do. And I share it with y'all because I love y'all. Sorry about the hair and the beard and all, but it's been a wild couple of days. The person closest to knowing what I went through last night, if I'm not around to tell you this story later, talk to him. It was Philip Francis. God bless my good friend. He got on Epiphany when we were still in Lake Michigan, St. Joe, and sailed 2 weeks with me round the clock. And we made it all the way to, not Toronto, not Lodi, freaking Ohio. Come out of the Detroit River on Lake Erie. What's the name? I don't know. Ask him. But it's on the far west side of Lake Erie. Is it Toronto? No, Toronto's in Canada. Lodi's where my grandfather was from. My dad was. That's south of Cleveland. But anyway, he had to catch a plane. He'd been on the boat 2 weeks. And when we come out of the Detroit River, let me tell you, we were in the shit. you know, and of course I'd only been sailing two and a half weeks, so I didn't know no better. We just sailed every day, no matter what the forecast was. And we had 12 footers out on Lake Erie the whole way. And he can tell you what it's like. It's wicked. But this goes beyond that. This is a whole new experience. And I did get a chance to talk to him earlier. My connection went through. God bless. I love these good people. But if I don't get to tell you the stories, ask him. He's got a book. He's got a couple. What a life. What a ride. I just want each one of you to know how thankful I am to have you in it and had the opportunity to share it. Good, bad, or ugly, whether you like me, whether you don't like me. If you don't like me, go fuck yourself. If you do like me, God bless. If you have no feelings either way, I just hope it's entertaining, you know. But I hold 9 world records for pelling with my good friend Gordon Berkheimer and a couple other folks. You know, every one of them I call a failed suicide attempt because if everybody else knew they could live through it, they would have done it before me. And maybe that's what this is, a failed suicide attempt. If it fails. If we're not around tomorrow, I guess I was successful. But no, this isn't a suicide attempt. This is an attempt to live life on the edge, to live it raw, to feel that excitement, that adrenaline, that dopamine, that serotonin coursing through your veins like heroin. That's me. I'm not a big drug dealer, or I was drug tested most of my life, 30 years. So I'm not a big partier. So I don't know what that feeling is unless it's this. But I'm going to tell you what, I think it's a better feeling than that because this is real. This is live. You know, every sunrise, God bless, they're magical. If you got a problem with the sunrise and it ain't pretty enough for you, or the sunset, it's not the problem with them. The problem's yours. You got to appreciate it for what it is. Life isn't perfect. It's never going to be. No one give me, no one give you that golden candy bar ticket that you see in the Blanca movie. We got to make it. Make ours. We got to own it. We got to culture it. We got to nurse it. Wow, I look like shit. I'm wore the fuck out. I was up for over 40 hours and I took a beating. I took some slams last night that I says, I hope I get up off the floor. Because if not, you know, she's going to crash into a rock somewhere. And that's the hazard of solo sailing. It's you. Nobody about you. You just, something simple. Slip on deck, fall, whack your head. Hell, fall, break a leg. Fall, break a rib. Fall, break an arm. It's you. It's all you. Nothing else but you. If you don't get up, if you don't grit your teeth, if you don't take it and make it happen from there, hey, sayonara, goodbye. And I took some slams. I'm surprised. I don't have black eyes, knots on my head or anything. But I took some slams last night because I had shit going on other than driving the boat. I had bilge pumps quitting. I had lost all my power to my navigation instruments. I don't know what that is. They had time to check that out. I had engine overheating issues. I'd had a crack in a heat exchanger that I've repaired, soldered twice. I don't know if that's it, but I'm losing water. So I got to top it off about every hour. I think that's it. I'm going to go ahead and order a new oil. I mean, $450. Is that what my life is worth? Hell, I'll spend that on beer and replace that. But I think I got it repaired right. So, yeah. And I don't know what's up with my rudder. I replaced the rudder. Maybe it was just weather helm. And it could have been just weather helm. And what I was doing, surfing, 12, 16-foot waves, literally surfing, probably weather helm. I'll check it out. But, yeah, it was hard. You know, I had to put the guns on it all night long, 2-hand steering, because when the instruments went out, my autopilot went out. And that don't sound like much, but if you're maritime, and I've seen a couple maritime people sign on here. If they're watch, I don't know if it's going through. You know what storm sailing in these conditions without an auto helm is not that the auto helm would have held or worked in these conditions, but it would have been nice to have my chart plotter, my wind gauge, and all that. But I made it here with Navionics on my phone because my chart plotter went down. And I've got it on 2 phones, and I've got it on a laptop here as a backup. So I've got backups to my chart plotter, and God bless I do, because I had to use them. But I don't know what else to say other than I'm alive for the moment. Whether I'll be alive later, that's questionable. I am about that far from the eye of Hurricane Melissa. Georgetown is in the eye. God bless all my peeps there. I did get hold of one of them, Captain Ashley. Don't know if you know him. Probably don't. But if this is it. This is it for me. And he makes it, him and his family. God bless. You don't hear anything else from me, reach out to Cap Mash and tell him thank you for sharing Captain Tiny's life. He's been a good friend. He's been the people that I look for in my stop and smell the coconut paste. Real people. Real people as strong as any of my maritime connections. Real people as strong as any of my repelling connections. Real people as strong as any of my caving connections. Me and him got that. He's my brother from another mother. Yep. He keeps telling me, Tiny, Captain Tiny, this ain't no insult, but I think you a wigger. Maybe I am. I don't see color. That's the issue. I see souls. I see hearts. And that's a lot for some people to understand, and I don't know if he quite got it. But it is what it is. Reach out to him, say hello, God bless. He was alive and doing well as of half hour ago. I talked to him. But they're in Georgetown in the shit too, in the middle of it. I haven't had the news on. Don't know if I can get the news. So God bless Jamaica. I don't know how they did. 240-mile gust. That's strong enough to wipe that island like you wipe your ass. So I hope they made it. Cuba, I hope they made it. I hope everyone makes it. I hope I make it. I'm not doing this to end anything. I'm doing this to live everything. But I do hope my end is this way. If I got to go, we all got to go. No one makes it off this freaking planet alive. Quit fooling yourself. If I got to go, how about go this way? Let's go on the boat I love. How about doing something I love? Don't know if I'm talking for. It says connected, so this is get. Go drinking a good beer I love. Go sharing memories. Let me see what the screen says. Stan Nieder, Harley, Laura, Alexander, Robbie Compton, Sharon Pierce. Love you all, man. It says you're watching. I guess you're getting the signal. But Hurricane Melissa, yeah. I knew this would happen one day. I knew there'd be a storm that developed, that the tracks fooled me. The weatherman had it wrong a little bit. And it happened once already, and I thought that was the end of it. Last year, me and Gordon Berkheimer, our first trip to the Bahamas, 3 days after we got here, anchored up off Radio Beach in Bimini. And went and checked the customs and all that. And it's a small harbor there, pain in the ass. Not very deep, and we're almost a 7-foot dry boat. So we stayed anchored there. Forecast was 20, 25 knots for a couple days from the east. And we're anchored on the west side of the island in front of Radio Beach. So I'm feeling safe. But that night, 3 cold fronts got together. Not tropical depressions. So it's not a hurricane. It was never labeled as a hurricane. But it produced a circular storm that looks just like a hurricane. I posted pictures of it. Look it up. November 13th, 2023. Surprise storm, Florida Straits. And it rotated like a hurricane. And it had 75, 85-mile winds like a hurricane. This is historic. It's true. Me being on the beach is true. You've seen the freaking pictures. This is the reason. And as long as the wind come out of the east, I'm protected by the island. So when it went by, rotation, it looked back and come out of the west and threw me right up on the beach. That wind shift happened, and I felt the boat heel over. I was in bed. It was about 6 in the morning. I've been up till 3 in the morning watching that and figured we'd be okay. But I did. The cyclone hadn't formed yet. And the boat kicked over. I went out on deck, trying to get a second anchor out because I carry a couple. And the boat laid down. If you're maritime, you know what that is. The boat was knocked down, no sails, on anchor. Probably 75 degrees, not 90. My mast didn't go in the water. I don't think it did. I was hanging into the lifelines like an iguana stuck in your blinds, or a cat. As she got washed to the beach, never got the second anchor deployed, and got shipwrecked high and dry. But Epiphany survived. I survived. Gordon survived. Ask around, boats that survive hurricane storm beachings like that don't come off the beach ever. And so I know I got a purpose in life. I know my spirit, my higher power wants me to do something, need to get involved with something, make it happen. And it involves Epiphany. Because we both lived through something we shouldn't have lived through then. And here we go again. I mean, how many times do I got to do this shit? I mean, karma, man. Give me a break. I live for the dream. I live for the excitement. But twice in 2 years? I mean, with today's modern forecasting, I mean, I could see this hurricane coming for a week. Seen the forecast, seen the track, made plans. Had faith in the track, but the track wobbles and it zigged and it zagged. And when I realized it zigged and zag was going to zag up my ass yesterday, I said, pull anchors and run Epiphany, run. Don't know how far we're going to get. Make grandiose plans of Nassau or Andros. Yeah, you see how that went. But we're living the dream. We truly are. And if this is part of the dream, I accept it. Nightmares are part of dreams. And if this is my nightmare, I'm living it. And I'm sharing it with you. I won't turn this off, but I'm not. In a situation like this, you can't see the camera's moving with the boat, but kind of sporty out here, folks. At dark, I can't show you anything. Maybe you can hear the wind generators. They're howling, hear the wind. I stow the boat the same way every time to prevent shit from flying around. And look, for the first time ever, my coffee pot's on the ground. That has never happened. Look at the mess this boat is. And that was just stuff flying around last night. Pretty wicked, pretty wild. I'll clean that up later. If we're here later. If there's a later for me, we'll clean it up. If not, it'll be just, what do you call it, detritus, debris. It'll wash up on shore someday. Some diver will find it. But you have your radars. If you're on land, got good internet connection. I don't know what's getting out of the boat. I posted location before I went to bed after being up for 40 hours when I anchored. Some people telling me that they can't get me on my Garmin tracker. They can't get me on AIS. I don't know why. Maybe it's just because I'm in a freaking hurricane. Or maybe I didn't pay the freaking bill. I did change all my credit card numbers 2 months ago to prevent some fraud and theft. So maybe that's why. But anyway, so if that location didn't go through to Facebook, is it like the official update the world shit now? This is Facebook Live? I guess it is. Who would have thought Zuckerberg could have pulled that off? But I ran last night out of Georgetown, pulled anchor, got underway about 8:30, scared to death, knowing she'd taken up the butt, the eye of the hurricane. Run Epiphany, run, get as far as you can, accept it for what it is. If it is the end, it's a hell of an end. It's a very gracious, very enjoyable end. Terrifying, but enjoyable. But run as far as you can and try and get an anchor down before the worst of it gets to you. And I did. And I ran all night. Got here about 8 or 10 this morning. I don't know. Time means nothing and shit like this. I mean, who's got time to look at a watch when you're fighting for your life? And I made it into Little Farmer's Cut. And making it into a cut with 12, 16-foot waves, it's called the Rage here in the Bahamas, where the waves break in the inlet. You can't come in or out. I mean, because you got no control. It's like being on a surfboard. That's how you get washed into the rocks. You can't fight a breaking wave. But I got to thinking, and as I was coming up the Exuma Sound, and I still had some connectivity watching that monster bear down on me and realizing, getting a sense of time when she was going to hit, I said, yeah, about daybreak, my ass needs to be on anchor or so, because it's going to get uncontrollable. And as the night built, it got uncontrollable. It got to where, God, I don't even know how I made it here, folks. I say 12, 16 foot. It was dark. It was dark. I couldn't see the waves. All I could do was feel them pick up a 40-foot boat that weighs 10 freaking tons. And if I didn't steer left or right, port or starboard, as I felt that wave lift me up, it would overwash my stern and soak me at the helm. And I didn't want to get sunk that way, so I would steer full rudder left or full rudder right for surfing. And then I had to steer, counter steer to surf back up the next one or ride back up the next one. But I don't know, look at them. How much wave does it take to pick a 40-foot sailboat that weighs 10 tons up and surf? You know, like angled down like 45 degrees and then angled back up at 45 degrees. I could hear as I'd crest a wave, this ain't no shit. You weren't here to hear it, but I heard it. And if you love me and trust me, you know I don't lie. As I would break over that wave to surf the next one, I'd hear, wah! As I'd go down, I'd hear, oh! That's called prop cavitation. I would feel that wave so bad that Epiphany's prop would cavitate. I don't know what it takes to cavitate a prop on a 40-foot boat, but I've only heard that one other time. And that was when we got thrown out of Canada because of COVID and computer shit, and had to sail to Cleveland in a 40, 50, 60 knot storm and took waves that big. We had cavitation there, and I get on the CNC page, and all the CNC owners, and say, hey, how much waves does it take to cavitate it? CNC 39. They say, you can't cavitate it. Trust me, this is twice. To all y'all naysayers, maybe it's because no one else has done it and lived to tell you about it. But yeah, you can cavitate a prop on a 40-foot boat surfing away, breaking over it, if you live through waves that big. Done that twice. Wow, can you hear that? Wild, man, it's wild. Sorry I didn't shave. Let me do something. I'm going to do this just for y'all, just because I love you. Just because maybe it's the last time I get to do it. I'll brush my hair for you. If we're going to be a pirate, we'll try and look at least a pirate that does take care of himself. Because I got nothing better to do but sit here and ride it. And hopefully talk to y'all. Hopefully you're getting through. Gregory Schaefer, Morgana Kane, Tino Haley, Elizabeth Ruzuka, and Mark Grace. Love you all, man. Appreciate it. It says you're watching. I don't know how this works. First time I've ever done a Facebook Live. Not the first time my life's been in threatened. The first time I've had the opportunity to Facebook Live. Oh, all right. Show you around. 20-ton boat, 40 feet long. She'd be rocking. You don't get a sense of it because the camera rocks with the boat. But she's wicked. She's wicked. But look it up. See where Hurricane Melissa is at this moment on your internet radar. I don't think I'm in the eye. The last track forecast I seen was, and this is what I prayed for, this is what I hoped for, this is what I ran, this is what I sailed through that shit last night for. North and east. I think I'm going to be just outside the eye. Georgetown, I think is going to be right in the eye, and that's why I ran. And they say probably downgrade a little bit after it left Cuba and Jamaica. It was 241 mile an hour gust. Maybe it's only 150 mile or 200 mile or 125 mile an hour gust. Now I don't know, but that shit ain't made for sailboats. But it is what it is. But I am, if you find Georgetown, Exuma on Grand Bahamas, Grand Exuma Island, that's the Exuma chains. I am 40 miles north of Georgetown, Exuma. I am 30 miles east or west of Georgetown, Exuma. That's the way the unchained trends. I surfed in through Little Farmer's Cut. What a ride, knowing there's a little hole there that you got to surf a sailboat through. But fortunately, it wasn't breaking waves. The rage, I could not have survived that. They'd have put me in the rocks and made it into the Grand Flats or whatever they call it back here. The water's not deep, and I'm protected, solid protection from up against Great Guana just north of Little Farmer's Cut. Got solid protection from the east, solid protection southeast, northeast. I think I'm solidly protected south. North, I got decent protection the way the island curves. I am open to the east. But what can I do about it? It's not a hurricane hole. It's a hurricane boomerang where I selected the anchor. So I got protection in 2 directions. So if this thing hooks around from the east, it's going to be like when it hooked around on me in Bimini and washed me up on the beach. But I got 3 anchors out. I'm on my 65-pound Lamar Claw, which is a backup anchor. I'm on my 65-pound Seaguar backup anchor. Both of them got 100 foot of 3/8" chain, plus, then rope road. They are out at about 275 feet. My primary anchor is a 72-pound Mantis on 300 feet of 5/16 stainless. Babe, I run her out to the end. She's 300 feet out there. I haven't been up on deck since I set them. I don't know if you could live through getting up on deck. I got jack lines on my boat. I did put them on, but it's wicked out there. I'm keeping my butt here. Plus, I was dead exhausted. I fell out. I guess it was noon time. I just woke up about 7 o'clock. Anchor alarm was going off. Scared to death. Don't know how long it had been going off, but anchors swing the arc, and I didn't have my circle perfectly adjusted, and it was the arc was touching the edge of the circle, so I've adjusted it. I haven't drugged. But if you drag on them 3 anchors, you got to rip the bow of the boat off. I don't think nothing can drag that. But ripping bows of the boat off has happened. That's why you put snubbers on if you got chain wingless. Got a buddy of mine who had the bow of his boat ripped off, his chain wingless ripped off, and lost his boat. Found his boat. That's how he knew what happened. But literally, I guess a snubber failed, and the stress on the windlass mount ripped it right out of the deck. Now, I installed this windlass. There's 3 foot by 2 foot aluminum plate sandwiched in my deck. You'd have to rip the whole bow of the boat off, but that's possible. It happens. I don't know if that's going to happen. My cleats are original. I'm on 2 cleats with the other 2 anchors, but they were strong enough to tow me off a beach high and dry. CNC built a good one. CNC invented the balsa cord haul, where to reduce weight, you put a fiberglass, you put it. Maybe I can find it where I cut out a hole in Epiphany to put a through haul. I saved the core. I don't know. I'll get it out later because, more important, you can look it up. But they invented the balsa cord call, balsa cord haul. It's layer fiberglass, balsa wood, end cut, and fiberglass, and it makes like an I-beam. What gives I-beam steel strength is you got a flange, and you got a web that connects the two. And to bend an I-beam, you got to stretch the top one and compress the bottom one. And that's what gives I beam strength, and that's the theory behind it. So, well, what is it? I've never done this. It says, bring them on camera. Boom. Can y'all get on camera? I don't know. It says adding somebody. Hit finish. Hey there. Anybody out there?